Yo, what's good, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry Sisters review. This is season 6, episode 4, entitled Face the Fire. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it always will be. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, especially subscribe. If you choose to, you know what I'm saying? If not, just sit back, relax, and we're going to get right into this thing. Now, this review may be a little bit different than my normal reviews. I'm going to try to keep it, you know what I'm saying, cute, sweet, to the point. But this was definitely an emotionally charged episode, not only with what took place within the episode, but also across the sister fandom. People lost their damn mind last night, okay? But we're going to get into that. So, last night's episode was very interesting. It was a lot going on, but also not a lot. It was all over the place. It was very chaotic, to me, the writing was very interesting. And I don't mean that in the best way. One thing that did happen for me as a viewer, it's been a long time since I have been emotionally triggered by sisters. And if you caught the live on Our Sister's Keeper with me and Erica Vane last night, I talked about how I'm not gonna go in any particular order, but when Andy received the news or was digesting that there was a possibility or that Karen was dead, because that's what Pam told her. My body, my mind, my emotions went back to my junior year in college when a friend of mine was murdered, and she was murdered by a childhood friend. And it was something, you're young. When you're a junior in college, you're probably like, 2021, and you're not really, it was such a blow. Everybody went home for the most part, went home for Thanksgiving holiday break. And I'll never forget, I was actually on my way back to school, driving myself back to school. And a friend of mine called me and told me the news, and I was so distraught. And I just couldn't, I just couldn't believe it. And, the story was, it was such a horrible, horrible story. But I understood Andy in that moment when she was like, I can't move. Because when you're delivered a blow like that, it's something that's so unexpected. You don't know, how you're going to respond. But it's amazing how your body, it's like feels that impact, and it goes into a state of shock. And even though during the salon scene, I felt a lot of that was, the acting was questionable, I'm gonna just say that. But the initial response from Andy and Pam when we saw them at the law firm, I thought that was legit, and I definitely connected with that. Now, we saw Zach, and Zach was like, Pam, you lying. He, grabbed his phone. I'm assuming he went to call Karen. Of course, she's not answering. And he was like, I'm going to the salon. I'm going to the salon. At that point, Zach didn't see anybody. He didn't see Andy. He didn't see Pam. He didn't see Fatima. His whole motivation was to get to the salon to see if Karen was alive, to see if this news was true. So I'm gonna just deal with Q and Logan because they were the most irrelevant piece of the episode last night. And so Q is still in the hospital. Logan goes to see him, and I'm thinking I really liked Logan initially when he popped up on the scene, but it's like now the way that Tyler has written this scenario, because he talks about how he saw the surveillance with Q and Maurice at the airport. And he was like, what you doing in Maurice's car? What are you doing with the gun? So my thinking is, you saw that. You're telling me your biggest piece of evidence in the bank robbery, which is the surveillance where Q was holding a gun to Maurice, holding him and Sabrina hostage. You're telling me you haven't seen that. You're telling me that case got you a raise. Not a raise, but you're telling me that this particular case got you a promotion, and the biggest piece of evidence there is no mention of. I said, this is typical TP fashion of writing where it just doesn't make sense. And he was trying to be all hard with Q, telling him, oh, you going to go back to work. You going to do this. You going to do that. Now, those people, they did rob the bank, so they're going to pay for it. I'm like, who are these people? What evidence do you have other than Q wearing a wire and recording Maurice being facetious when he said that he and Sabrina robbed the bank? Like, that's all you have. You have no evidence. And I'm like, I'm sure like it's just not enough. But anyway, I didn't really care about that scene. That's just all that it was. So going back to the salon where most of this particular episode took place, you see Fatima. Fatima is driving, and I will give Fatima her props because she definitely rose to the occasion as far as being there for Andy. She drove Andy and Pam back to the salon, and Fatima, excuse me, Andy was like, Fatima, you can't go any faster, and she was like, Andy, I'm going fast. And Pam was like, well, not as fast as Zach. And Tyler is always so intentional in keeping Pam saying something crazy, but also tying it into this whole Zach and Karen resurgence, if there even is one. But I'm just tired of it, but I'm not gonna get to that right now. So everybody get to the salon. Fatima calls Danny per Andy's request. And Andy is she's just in shock, so she's staring out the window. Fatima tells Danny that she needs to get to the salon. And Danny is like, well, what's going on? She was like, Danny, just get to the salon. And, she was like, Fatima, you scaring me. Like, what's going on? And I understood both sides. One, when you're at work and you get a call like that, your initial response is you do want to know what's going on. But for Fatima to call her and not Andy, I know for me, that would alert me like, Alicia, something is definitely wrong. This may not be the time to ask your questions. Just get to where they're telling you need to go. Like, I could understand that. So, of course, Danny, heads over to the salon. When Sabrina gets back home, she has all these missed calls. Because remember, Sabrina left her purse, her wallet, and her phone at home to go out with Bayo, which is a dumb decision. Women, please don't do that. I said, Sabrina, I just want to shake some sense into her because she obviously acts like she doesn't have any. So I'm like, what in the world? So Maurice comes over while Bayo is still there. And this scene for a lot of people was triggering. I would say for me, just my perspective, I do not believe that Bayo is homophobic. I really don't. And even if Tyler is trying to project that, the way that he wrote it was very weird. It came out of nowhere. It just did not fit. It was such an awkward moment. And one of the things I did like about that moment is because I feel like a lot of people, it's amazing that a lot of people will say Maurice is aggravating. Maurice gets on their nerves, but they felt that Bayo was out of line. Before it took a turn, they felt like Bayo was out of line. I'm like, and for me, I didn't feel like he was out of line. I think the way that Maurice approached people, the way that Maurice speaks to people, I'm surprised he ain't got his shit busted. Because I'm thinking if I'm with my friend and someone approaches me, whether same sex or opposite sex, and you approach me in a way that will make me feel uncomfortable, my first response I would be looking at my friend like, what the wrong with your dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that, like, that's to tag somebody as being homophobic. I'm very cautious when it comes to labeling somebody all because of their response to something. I really don't think it had anything to do with Maurice being gay. I just think it had everything to do with the way that Maurice approached him. I think Maurice was out of line in my personal opinion. Now, the way that Tyler wrote Bayo to respond toward the latter part of the scene, it was just seemed too much and it just did not make sense. So getting back to the salon. So now, Sabrina's there. Everybody's there. And the interesting thing is we knew it was a body. We knew it was a body in the salon. The viewers, for the most part, we know that it was not Karen. We just didn't know who it was. So there were many speculations. A lot of people believed it was Jennifer. I thought that was a strong possibility. But the way Tyler Perry swung this whole storyline, it really pissed me off. So I'm going to get into that. So we find out that whoever started the fire was probably the homeless people in the back of the salon, because one of the neighboring business owners, they would go out there and feed the homeless people. And they believed that, they started the fire, and that's one of the elderly or older homeless men died in Karen's shop. And I'm like, really, Tyler? That's, for the longest time, Tyler has been building it up as far as Pam is the one that's not being responsible. She's not cutting off the curlers. She's not making sure that the stylist stations are clear, that everything is cut off or unplugged or what have you, because that is her job. That is in her job description. So it was built up as if it was going to be Pam, and it wasn't. It was some random John Doe that none of us know, that none of us care about, that none of us give a damn. You know, it was. I'm like, you could have made this so impactful. It could have been Bean, which was Aaron's ex-wife's brother. It could have been the person who snapped the photo of Karen and Zach and sent it to Angela. It could have been anybody that had some type of effect. I said it could have. What if it was Andy's old dude that used to beat her in college? Like, I would have loved for it to have been someone that was personal with the sisters, other than some, like, it just didn't hit. I felt like it was such a wasted storyline. So Zach is there, and Zach is, he gets there, and it was Aaron and Gary, and he was like, is Karen in there? And they was like, we don't know. Zach tried to run up in that building. I'm like, what you gonna do? Karen! Then he started screaming Karen's name. But I think that Zach's response was warranted. This is me. So I'm going to get into it. I believe that Zach's response was warranted. I believe that the way Zach responded was real. I believe it was real. Sadly, Fatima was there witnessing all of this, witnessing Zach's breakdown, witnessing Zach, cry, witnessing Zach look like he was about to lose his mind over the possibility of Karen being deceased. So when everybody gets there, all the men show up too. Preston's there, Calvin's there. And I was like, what the hell they here for? Why? It didn't make sense. Sabrina was like, she texts Calvin. I don't know why the hell Preston was there. That was the oddest situation to me. It just didn't make sense. But then I thought about it, and I said this in the live last night. I said, even though certain things Tyler does, it does not make sense. There are a lot of things that he do that is very intentional, and there is a method to his madness. So everybody is there with their, proposed or possible love interest. They're comforting these women. They're consoling them during this time. And Fatima is there by herself, standing, watching her man break down. And I said, wow. I think that was, to me, I believe that was the message that Tyler was sending. Like, everybody man is here. Pam the only one don't have one. But everybody man is here. But the comfort that is needed is not being given. And so a lot of people felt like Fatima should have been consoling Zach in that moment. And to each his own. You know what I'm saying? To each his own. If that was my man and he found out that, his ex, possibly passed away, I think, for me, and this is just me, I think I would have been more emotionally, how can I put this? I would have been comforting him. I would have hugged him. I would have let him know that it's okay to let it out. Because for me as a woman, I would expect that. I would expect him to cry. I would expect him to have an emotional response to the news. Now, everybody crying. And they just distraught. Sabrina started breaking up this story about orange soda or something with Karen. It was in college. It was a little weird. I'm like, out of all the stories that you could have told, you went with a damn. It was, like I said, the writing in this episode was very interesting. So we see Karen walk up, and she don't know what's going on. So she's like, "Oh, y'all thought so it had to believe that I was dead in order for me to get this type of love." And Zach was the first one. Oh my God. And he ran up to her and he hugged her like 50 lamb times. 50 lamb times he hugged Karen in that moment. And I'm looking like, oh my God. Because there was a moment where he like caressed her face. And she was like, I'm all right. And she touched his face too. That was a moment. I ain't gonna lie like that. That was a moment. Ebony and DeVal have amazing chemistry. They have amazing chemistry. And that's not to say that him and Crystal don't have chemistry, but it's something about Karen and Zach. And I think that's why a lot of people get upset, is because they can see it too. Like it's something there. That doesn't mean that, that he wants to be with her, or maybe it does. But I'm just saying it's something there that I think that if Tyler ever wanted to spin the block with that, which is something we talked about in the live too, because I'm not counting it out. I don't want it to happen, but I don't think that it's such a far-fetched idea that Zach and Karen could possibly be together. But that is something that I do not want to see. I know people say that if they do get back together, they're not going to watch anymore, but I don't believe that. But with Fatima, there was another moment. Fatima was catching strays all last night. When Zach, now I did like the moment where Aaron told him, oh, so now you care? Now you care. And Zach told Aaron, like, I will beat the out of you. You know what I'm saying? And, emotions are raging. Emotions are raging. So I gave everybody grace, you know what I'm saying, last night. Say what you say, you know what I'm saying? It hit who you hit. Try not to fight nobody, but I just extended grace to everybody last night. And so Zach told Aaron that this is a family thing and you will understand, like, you ain't got no parts in this. And the look on Fatima's face, that bullet hit her too. Because just like Aaron, for the most part, she's kind of like an outsider. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was very interesting that Zach used those words to Aaron. So when Karen, after Zach, because Zach kept hugging her, he told Karen that he would help rebuild her shop. And that's a promise. He promised her that that's what he was going to do. I said, ooh, okay. All right, he promised her that he's going to help her rebuild her shop. The girls had to literally move Zach out of the way in order for them to hug Karen. And I was like, wow. So in that moment, a lot of fans felt that Zach was out of line, that Zach did too much, that Zach completely abandoned Fatima, and that he forgot all about her. I said, well, it wasn't about her. In that moment, it wasn't about Fatima. In that moment, it wasn't about abandoning Fatima. At that point, Fatima didn't matter. I'm sorry. Not saying she doesn't matter, but in that moment, she did not matter. And so when Fatima went to have drinks with Angela, because of course, that's who she calls when she didn't get some stuff off her chest, she was saying how she felt abandoned. And Angela was like, yeah, girl, because I know you don't like to feel abandoned. And my thing is this. I think that however Fatima feels, she has the right to feel the way that she feels. But I also believe that Fatima should put these things into context. Because when Fatima learned that her ex had a terminal illness, it broke her. She cried. She shed tears. She went and met him. She didn't tell Zach. She was secretive about it. She didn't tell him. And one of the issues I have personally always had with Fatima is that Fatima will do things and it's okay. Zach can do the same exact thing and then it's a problem. Fatima don't want to talk about things because she needs to process it. When she asks Zach a question, she demands that he answers it at that moment. So there are some personality traits about Fatima that I personally am not a fan of. So I'm like, it's just certain things I understand you may have felt abandoned. I understand that. And I know that you may not want to express that to Zach, so you're expressing it to your friend. But also in the same breath, Fatima took it as, it's like he's still in love with her, and it was very different from my situation with Ian. And I said, well, why was it different from your situation with Ian? Because you actually saw Zach embrace Karen and he didn't necessarily see you? Is that what makes it different? Would Zach have had the same response as you if he would have saw you with his own eyes hugging Ian at the coffee shop? Yeah, a picture was taken, but what if he was there? What if he would have saw you? What if he would have saw the tears falling from your eyes? Do you think he would have had that same reaction? And so my thing is this, like a lot of people love to bring up the fact that I'm not a big Zach fan, but I'm like, that has nothing to do with it. When Zach is right, or when I feel that Zach is right, I'm going to stand and I'm going to ride for him till the wheels fall off. And I feel like in this moment, I don't feel like Zach was wrong. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me with that, but I feel like Zach has always told Fatima that he loves Karen. He's never denied it. He just never has. Now, the only difference is in last night's episode, his verbal expression of love was now expressed in a physical form. And I think that's what Fatima has an issue with. But love is an action word, ain't it? We love saying that. And last night, I think the action of Zach's love was displayed. So, Angela tried to play devil's advocate, with Fatima, but Fatima wasn't hearing it. She just felt like It was different. I saw it. You didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. I think a lot of people, and I love the love that was expressed, people, sending me messages and things. I got a lot for this episode, and I really do appreciate it. And I think that a lot of people were upset with Zach simply because people really feel like Zach does not love Karen. And I'm like, he does. He does. And I think people accepting that truth, because he can be in love with, he can love Karen and want to marry Fatima. I also believe there's a strong possibility that Zach is still in love with Karen. I really do. And that is a great observation, or a great topic to discuss, because people are so quick to dismiss that as if it's not a possibility. So the girls are, they're at Andy's place, and I missed this scene because Spectrum got to get themselves together because they was messing up. And so I was told that, Danny was like, well, did you see how he, did Fatima for you, or whatever the case may be? And, Karen was kind of like, yeah, I saw, kind of like, in a mode of like, I know Zach loved me and everything like that. I'm just not, I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the bandwidth to deal with Zach and Karen going back in this merry-go-round. I just don't. And I really wish that Tyler would not do that, because that is something that I am incredibly sick of. She tells the women that while she was at the hospital, the doctor told, like, she know who the father of her child is. And I'm going to be quite frank with y'all. I don't give a damn. I don't care if Zach is the dad. I don't care if Aaron is the dad. This storyline has gone on for so long. I don't care if Aaron is the dad. I don't care if Zach is the dad. This storyline has gone on for so long. I do not care who fathered this child. It doesn't matter at this point. Knowing Tyler Perry, he's going to always keep Karen and Zach linked together. And what better way to have them linked for life than her bringing forth his child? I can really, really see that happening. I'm trying to think what else happened in this episode. Was that it? I think that was it. A lot of the stuff just came from the fans, just thinking Zach did too much. It was over the top. He disrespected Fatima. Fatima need to leave him alone. I'm like, of all the things that Zach has done, this is what y'all feel Fatima need to leave him alone for? In my opinion, Fatima should have been gone. But, to each their own. Everybody can rock with what they want to rock with. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's all that happened. My views on last night is that Aaron, I don't know what's gonna happen with them, with him and Karen, because she's still in her feelings about this, the Jennifer situation, which I can definitely understand. Zach and Fatima, I don't even know why they're together, because obviously the trust isn't there. But I do understand Fatima feeling the way that she does. But now it has become a personal issue. It has become something that she has internalized, and she needs to deal with it. So my thing is this: either I can understand her asking Zach certain questions or not feeling secure in her relationship with him, but at this point, it's on her. I don't think it's up to Zach. You're either going to trust him or you're not. You're either going to believe what he tells you or you're not. And my whole thing is, you can listen to what Zach is saying, but if his actions is showing something contrary, then leave. Why are you there? What are you holding on to? So I'm definitely interested in seeing them have a conversation about what took place at the salon, because we know there's going to be a conversation. And I am actually interested in hearing what that conversation is going to be. So, yeah, y'all, until next time, thank you for listening. I will holler at y'all later, and y'all be safe out there. One.